want to know what's really killing the spiritual industry? Because it's not the skeptics, it's not the economy, it's the free readings. And today we are going to dissect the entire corpse, publicly, mercilessly, and with absolute forensic precision. Welcome to what we're calling the psychic slaughterhouse. And let's be crystal clear right from the jump, I'm quoting directly from the source material for this whole analysis. This isn't a video, it's an autopsy. We're here to find the cause of death. So that brings us to the central question, right? The question this entire forensic analysis is built around. What exactly is the weapon? What is this systemic poison that's causing a total collapse from the inside out? Well, the answer is blunt, and it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. According to this deep dive, the cause of death is the culture of free readings. It's a self-inflicted wound, and it's become a mortal one. So, let's begin the dissection. Our analysis is based on this really comprehensive autopsy report that just pulls no punches. We're going to treat this like a formal investigation, going piece by piece, starting with the core findings. And the executive summary? It is absolutely damning. It concludes that this whole free reading ecosystem isn't about generosity at all. It's an unpaid labor network, just disguised with spiritual language like energy exchange. The whole thing is governed by emotional manipulation. It's controlled by social media algorithms, and ultimately, it results in what the report calls spiritual cannibalism. Okay, so our first piece of evidence is the language itself. We're now moving into the forensic linguistics report. This is where we examine how these specific, seemingly innocent phrases are actually codified weapons. Weapons used to extract unpaid labor. Now, what's so wild about the slide is how it decodes the entire system. If drawn to me, that's not some spiritual call. It's bait. You're so gifted and humble? That's not a compliment. It's literally a command to stay cheap. And that simple blessings emoji, yeah, it's often used as a full stop, a way to just close the transaction and completely avoid payment. All right, let's just isolate one of the most powerful phrases used against practitioners who try to set boundaries. This one right here. It's a classic tool of manipulation, and it's designed to create doubt and enforce compliance. And this just brilliantly illustrates the subtext, doesn't it? When someone says, other readers don't charge, what they are really truly saying is, your professional boundary is making me uncomfortable, and I'm going to use comparison to pressure you into removing it. It is weaponized guilt, plain and simple. Okay, so let's move from the language to the perpetrators. The report identifies several key archetypes, or as it calls them, parasite classes, who keep this cycle of exploitation going. This is the psychological autopsy of the system's key players. So the investigation basically categorizes them into 5 distinct profiles. You've got the validation addict, who's just looking for an endless emotional fix, the false philanthropist, claiming generosity while exploiting everyone, the guilt caster, who manipulates empathy, the serial ghoster, who takes the reading and just vanishes, and of course, the insidious admin messiah, who builds their entire platform on the backs of unpaid readers. So first up, we have the validation addict. Now, this isn't someone who's looking for genuine guidance. Nope, they're collecting readings like trophies, just to get a temporary emotional high. They'll shower you with praise, OMG, you're so accurate, and then they're gone. Basically training you to confuse that flattery with actual payment. And then you've got the guilt caster. This profile is a lot more aggressive. They directly weaponize a reader's sense of purpose and empathy. The moment you try to set a boundary or mention a fee, they hit you with stuff like, but I thought you were here to help people. It's just a direct attack on your integrity, all to squeeze more free work out of you. And this, of course, brings us to the money. Or, well, the lack of it. We're now opening the financial autopsy, which reveals the so-called donation economy for the complete fraud that it is. The numbers here are, well, they're stark. I mean, the evidence is laid bare right here on this slide. Just look at the comparison. The labor hours are identical, 2 to 3 hours of intense spiritual and emotional work. But the net income for a free group reading, after fees on a tiny little donation, is less than €1. Now compare that to a private client. The emotional outcome really says it all. Exhaustion versus empowerment. Let's just let that number sink in for a minute. 96 cents for what the report calls a full divine service, which often includes a 10-card spread, timeline analysis, and deep emotional labor. 96 cents. And if that wasn't shocking enough, This bar chart puts it into just devastating perspective. The equivalent hourly wage for that service is 48 cents. That's less than half the cost of a coffee from a vending machine. This is the economic reality of the donation model. So, how does a system this broken even sustain itself? Well, the final verdict from the report points to a very clear hierarchical structure, which it labels the pyramid of pain. This is the architecture of the systemic collapse. See, at the very top, you have the admins. They're the gatekeepers who exploit readers as free content machines just to feed the algorithm. They're supported by the mid-tier loyalists. These are readers who've been indoctrinated into the free culture and will actively shame anyone who tries to charge. And then, propping the whole thing up, the base. A constant revolving door of hopeful newbies providing endless free labor for an exposure that this system is literally designed to never deliver. The report's conclusion on this whole structure is just brutal and direct. This is not a community built on spiritual connection. It's a farm, and the readers providing all the free labor, you're the livestock. Which brings us to the final, personal statement, the one aimed directly at every single practitioner watching this right now. Every time you post free readings, you are not being generous. You're sending a signal. You are saying, use me, underpay me, forget me. The report's final recommendation is, frankly, a matter of survival. Charge your damn worth, or get erased by the algorithm that already sees you as free content. This entire analysis, this autopsy, it's a eulogy, but not for the practice of tarot or spiritual work itself. No, it's a eulogy for the practitioners who are going to burn out and disappear if they don't wake up to the reality of this system. The investigation is complete. All the evidence has been presented, and the verdict is in. As the report itself concludes, case closed.